Alright, so, talking about Legend of Korra. I'm guessing by now you've watched the season finale. It's what, like, Tuesday? I'm sure Nick has it up by now. If you didn't watch it on Saturday, which I don't know why you wouldn't, because, one, it's on TV. Two, it's on Lawler Stream. Don't go to that. That's a terrible website. A million bajillion other places. So, I'm sure you watched it then. But if you didn't, go watch it, and then come back to this video. So, now that you've seen The Legend of Korra, what did you think? Pretty good ending. I loved it. I gotta say my favorite part was probably watching General Iroh fly around with firebending. It was just like, I didn't know you could do that with firebending. Like, okay, honest, I didn't watch the first season. I know, I should have watched it. I'm gonna get Netflix and watch it, but I don't know if they did that in the first season, but that was pretty cool. I think that probably puts firebending as even cooler than airbending. But Bolin, I mean, they, again, did not have any screen time for him. He was like all over episode 3, 4, and 5. And then he has like 4 lines total in the last 3 episodes. He was probably my favorite character. Hopefully he'll show up more in season 2. And how about that plot twist? Amon, Tarlok, brothers. And you all thought he was Amon. Of course I did too, up until like episode 8 when he actually showed up and then took Tarlok's bending away. You're like, well, that theory's out the window. But all that aside, the point of this video, that ending. Now I read some comments on the Wikipedia page, and, quite a lot of different opinions. Some people liked it, some people didn't, and I can see why. I personally wasn't a huge fan of it either, and it makes sense, because it was kind of sudden. I mean, there had all this build-up for, like, all of the season that you were wondering if Korra was actually going to get her bending taken away, because she's the Avatar, and nobody's ever been able to take anybody's bending away but the Avatar. Sure enough, she gets it stolen by Amon, and then she, in the nick of time, learns to airbend. And then she goes to Katara, who can't even heal her. And then Mako's all like, screw Asami, I love you. She's like, I can't do this. And then she goes out to stare at the ocean like at the beginning. And Aang pops up out of nowhere, presumably in spirit, and gives her bending back. She goes back to Beifong, gives her bending back, and you're thinking probably everybody else too. And there you have it. End of story. Whoop-de-doo. There you have it. So as you can see, it was a little sudden and didn't quite fit with all the build-up of the season. But, not what you think. Keep in mind that if she had not gotten her bending back, it would have been essentially the exact same plot as last season, which would have been Korra finding, learning all bending because all she knew was airbending, which would have been kind of boring, and I'm sure we all would have complained about that too, because we would have been like, oh, it's the same plot. So, really, it's just kind of left me wondering, what are they going to do with the second season? Because Korra's essentially covered what Aang did in 4 books in 1. She's already fallen in love, and she's already kind of learned all of her bending. Obviously, she's got more to learn, but I'm just kind of excited for what's to come, because she's already so awesome. And maybe she'll still end up with Bolin. Who knows? And then there's the Equalist movement. Now, I know, Amon's dead, but we all know the movement didn't die with him. There was plenty of people standing out in the street that were pissed at him because they all believed in the movement. He just was kind of the wrong guy for the job. I mean, somebody could just as easily take his place that was just as good a leader. Maybe Mustache Guy will stand up and be like, hey, I got electric shuckers, and I can totally take these guys on. Let's do this, everybody. And lastly, I mean, these guys are great writers, so I really don't have any doubt that Book 2 is going to be fantastic, and that even though they've kind of left us with just a happy ending, which was probably what they wanted to do to some extent for Season 1, that it's not going to pick up. It definitely is in Season 2. I would bet a lot of money on that. Alright, so that's my little take on the Legend of Korra ending. Hope you liked it. Hope if you were upset, you're a little bit more excited now. I'm sure you already were, but maybe even more than you were before for Season 2. And I'm sure until Episode 1 of Season 2, we will all be wondering, what will Korra be doing all Season 2 now that she's mastered all of her bending? Will she just be constantly kicking butt? Will her and Mako have relationship troubles? No, actually, I'm pretty sure they probably will. There will probably be a couple episodes covering that. Will Bolin get any more screen time? More than the occasional line and a girly scream here and there? And on that note, is there any hope for Bolin and Korra? Maybe just a little bit, depending on if Mako's a jerk or not, which is pretty likely to some extent. Maybe. Who will lead the Equalist movement? And, most importantly, now that Korra has mastered airbending, will she learn fart bending? Okay. So I was talking about General Iroh and how crazy it was, but Bolin, they didn't have any more screen time for Bolin again. Totally rocked the camera there. That's a little too much.